Hey there, Paul with you again. I was asked by Stephen again a question regarding doubt. Do I personally ever experience doubt? How do we deal with doubt? Maybe this whole Christianity thing is made up and maybe God doesn't really exist. So how do you deal with doubt, not only in terms of salvation but in terms of faith in general? And 1 Peter 3:15 says, "Be ready always to give an answer to every man that asks you of the reason of the hope that is in you." So we should be able to even answer whatever doubts may arise in other people's lives, so that I may be able to answer you, this question that Stephen asked me. So how do we deal with doubt? And I had a period in my life when I was going through serious doubt, and doubt whether God is the truth or if Christianity is the truth, and it wasn't doubt that really hindered my faith. I still believed in God, but I understood that I had no basis to do so. I didn't have a foundation. Now my faith was still strong, just because of the person that I am. If I accept something, I just go with it. It's called pragmatism. It works for me, so I just go with it. But I needed a foundation so that I can answer others, whether atheists or people of other religions. I really wanted to be able to stand for my faith. So I started researching. I started researching if there's any way to prove the existence of God. I went and started watching videos by Ravi Zacharias. I don't know if you guys heard of him. I started reading philosophy and different types of philosophy. There's existentialism, there's Esotericism, I think it's called, and there's all these different ones that are out there. Subjective relativism, and went into Epistemology, which is how can we know that we know what we know is true, and all this other stuff. And I came across the works of Schaeffer. A really good friend of mine, Larry, pointed me in that direction. And then Nancy Pearcey, which kind of took over the work of Schaeffer after he passed away, and now she's running the Institute. And they answered all my questions. They gave me evidence for God's existence. They explained to me that if there is no God, we can't even know that reality exists, because we have no basis to do so, because everything we receive is just through our senses and we accept it as true. We don't know, maybe we're dreaming right now, maybe we came into existence 5 minutes ago and everything's just the way it is. And the only way you can believe in laws that are absolute, and the only way you can say that we believe these absolute laws to be true, absolutely true, and we can fathom them and we can understand them, is only if you first believe in the premise that there is a God who is unchanging, who is solid, who is eternal, and all the laws that he set in place are knowable by human beings who are created in his image. Without first accepting this premise, everything else is accepted without any reasonable basis. So I came to know God, that God exists. Then we started talking about, with my friends, who were also into philosophy, about truth, about which religion is true, and Jesus Christ was the only one who claimed to be the Messiah. Well, a lot of people claim to be the Messiah, but he was the only one that proved it by resurrecting from the dead. He is the only one that can be proven that he did resurrect, because looking at the contrary evidence and the motivations the disciples had to create this religion can all be easily disassembled. A great book that really helped me, apart from many others, is I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist. And that one just presents straight up historical, philosophical, intellectual, logical, scientific evidence for the existence of God. But it was just a journey for me. And through that journey, all doubt was overcome to the point that I can answer any person who comes to me with any question whatsoever regarding doubt, regarding why I believe what I believe, and regarding upon which basis I believe these things. So that's how I overcame doubt. That's how God led me in my life to know truth and to find out that the Word of God, the Bible, is the only one unchanging truth. And it boils down to, do you want to believe it or reject it? And most people reject it on an emotional level because they don't want to change the way their life is, and they don't want to accept this truth, not realizing the freedom this truth carries for their life as their nature becomes changed, and they only thirst to do what is good and pleasing to God, and God Himself works in their hearts to change them, and it's just such a beautiful thing. Well, that's how I overcame doubt. That's how God overcame doubt in my life. And I hope that answers your question regarding personal doubt and regarding how we can have absolute faith without having it tremble or wobble. And the only way we could do that is if we're built on Jesus Christ, who is the only foundation upon which all things are built. So, God bless you. I hope that answers your question. Bye-bye. Salvation. How can we be sure that we're saved? How can we be sure that our faith is alive? Because James talks about two different types of faith, one of which is